Yeah, see, so when they talk,
That's
so
their
quite,
pat
quite
answer,
often the
isn't
line
it?
is that the Tories cut X million pounds from Sefton Council's budget, etc., etc. So you've got to look at it from there's a few points with that, I think. So the first thing to say is that Sefton Council budget didn't get cut. So when you look at what the budget back in 2010 compared to what it is now, it's actually gone up. So the actual overall budget has increased. So when people talk about cutting the budget, what they're talking about is the central government grant. So that's what was reduced. And in effect, the Conservative government said that councils need to get their house in order and run their services efficiently, effectively, and within the budgets that they have available to them, so that when things go wrong, they can't come running to central government saying, "Can you give us some more cash?" Because there isn't a magic money tree. There just isn't. And the reason that decision had to be taken back in 2010, if people remember, is that at that general election, and I know this is 15 years ago now, but the country was skint. Quite frankly, the country was broke. We just had a massive financial crisis, and Labour had done nothing in the years preceding to get a control of government debt or the deficit. So we ended up in a position where the Conservative government had to make some very difficult decisions to make sure that the country's books were balanced. So that's the first point, I think, to say that the budget's not been cut. What people mean is the central government grant isn't as high as what it would have been previously, but there's reasons for that. Now you look at what each individual council has to do themselves to operate within their budgets. So there are certain core services that they have to provide. So we've talked about children's services. That's a statutory function that the council has to provide. Things like waste collection, education, etc., things they have to provide. But there are things they don't have to provide, and this is where Sefton have gone wrong, I think. So engaging in commercial property speculation, which is what Bootle Strand is to me, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to set up a catering company which runs at about £600,000 deficit. I think the last time we looked at some of the numbers. They didn't have to set up a building company like Sandway Homes, which doesn't make any money and which the council has underwritten millions of pounds of guarantees to. So there are decisions that have been taken by Sefton Council which they didn't have to take. So there are certain things they do have to do, so just core statutory services, but there are things they didn't have to do. And it's those things they didn't have to do